If you've ever wanted to see a concise weekly snapshot of who is going to what mortgage company and why, stick around because in this week's episode of Weekly Mortgage Company Losers and Gainers, we're going to take a look at that and we're going to speculate a little bit. My name's Thomas Meister. I'm the loan officer's agent. And in this episode, I'm excited to share with you some of the new, well, no, they're not new. They were there last week, but they're, I think, some more features with the tool that we're going to be using, which is Redder. And for those of you who aren't subscribed, in the description is going to be a link that you can use to register and sign up. Let's get started with this week's episode. I'm really excited because one of the things I noticed, if we come in here and let's just do a quick little refresher on this page, just to make sure that the data was updated yesterday. It gets updated every Tuesday here in Redder. But one of the quick little things that we need to take advantage of, which I didn't actually do last week, is if you come in here to more, then you can actually just, obviously, for those of you who are seasoned Redder users, I just didn't do this last week, is we're going to disable really quickly banks and brokers, and we'll compare them really quickly, but let's just hit apply. And so it's just going to show us over the last 12 months, the mortgage companies, right, for the changes, right? How many loan officers each one has. However, if we want to dive a little bit deeper, we're going to, again, kind of pick on the top 10. Maybe we'll hop around and look at some others this week. But I wanted to show you, if you just move this around really quickly and we come in here and look at brokers this time, you can actually see who are the biggest brokers in the country. Now, obviously, UWM is not a broker. People send them loans, okay? However, Barrett Financial is, Nexa is, and West Capital Lending is. Home Edge Finance, I think, you drop it in the comments if they're an investor that we're sending loans to. Or if they actually have, I mean, they've got a lot of loan officers. So I would think that they are, right? UWM only has 20. So yes, Edge Home Finance is. That is obviously a dead giveaway. However, right here, Lakeview Loan Servicing, they are not because they don't have a lot of loan officers and they did 5.7 billion in the last 12 months. So they're just a servicing company, right? We've got C2 Financial, eMortgage Capital, Everett well, that is wrong. That is wrong, actually. And that is actually a really good point to make because if you're a seasoned loan veteran, then that you know Everett Financial is Supreme Lending, but for some reason they're coming up here in Redder. I'm gonna shoot this over to Steven, one of the co-owner of Redder, because that's something big. They should be on the other list. Okay, so let's hop back over to let's look at it real quick since we're here, just so we can get a peek, right? Like, what are the last 12 months for banks, right? Banks and credit unions. I've got a lot of friends at these companies, right? So there are a lot of originators who are working for banks because that's just kind of how they either got into the business or they really benefit from the portfolio products or some of those things that these banks have, right? I'm going to say it out loud right now. Just because you work at a bank, if someone's trying to recruit you to, just come over to, our company, like, and we're broker IMB and it'll be fine. Like, you'll do great. Maybe. Okay. That's I don't think that you can just say that blatantly about every single person who works at a bank or credit union, because that's not always the case. So, Rocket Mortgage, they're coming up here, right, in the IMB space, and they're not actually an IMB lender, right? Or I should take that back, because even last week I said they weren't, and that's not true. They're an online lender, and they recently, last year, or was it the year before that, they acquired Bayview. And so Bayview, Bayview was a part of Redfin, right? And Redfin, they bought, right? So Rocket Mortgage bought Redfin, and with that came Bayview. And Bayview has a lot of, in fact, let's dive in really quickly, because we didn't even look at them last week. We'll look at them and we'll take a peek, and I'll share with you a little bit of what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. In the last year, look how many loan officers they lost. They just churn LOs here, apparently. They grew by $8 billion. Okay, so that's, Rocket, obviously, one of the biggest lenders in the entire country, right? But let's see, Neil, right? I know that name, Neil. Neil came from, did I say Bayview? Bay Equity. Guys, stop me next time. Don't let me just run around with my mouth, okay? So Neil, and I'm not sure, a lot of these names I'm necessarily jumping off the page to me, but you get the point. There's definitely some of these other people I know are from some of those other companies, okay? So let's close this, and now let's go to our first. Well, we have to change it to weekly, right? Well, you know what? Since we had Rocket, we're gonna look at Rocket first, but we're gonna look at them weekly, right? So let's update this to the past week because that's what we're here for. We're going to look at the last week, the changes, who went where. Oh my gosh, wow. Rocket Law. So again, you can't look at this and take it on its entire face value, but they lost 46 loan officers for a net loss of 40 LOs and for a net loss of 450 million in production. However, if these were online leads, then just because these loan officers left, that production doesn't necessarily belong to them. Last week, we made that point with builders, okay? And so look at all these people who are going inactive. You know what? They might actually be going inactive because if I were to open one of these people, sorry, Marvin, we're picking on you. Look at how much of that was refinance. It's not half, but it's a significant percentage and immediately makes me think to myself, these were, okay, and look here, buyer's agents. There are no buyer's agents. Were they all, well, they're not all refis because some of them were existing homes and it says purchases, but there weren't realtors on it. It doesn't have any data on it. So now we know that Marvin was not doing any, again, the delineation there, purchase-based business, referral-based business, right? Like some of these people buy online leads as their entire lead source, right? So let's hop over here. So you get the point. We've made our point with Rocket and looked at them. So let's look at cross country. Actually, I have to update this real quick so it reflects weekly. And so we're going to look at cross country. And rather than just focus every single time we do this on the biggest and the best known companies, we want to move around a little bit, right? And remember, we're going to compare this to last week's video or some of the, I guess I should take screenshots next time. If you have ideas or thoughts for how I can always make this better and deliver you more value, let me know. Drop it in the comments. I'd love to know. So in the last week, a gain of 25 loan officers and $348 million of new production. Oh, sorry, is that the past week? Is that right? Wow. For a second, I was like, hold on a second. Is that actually? Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 $10 million plus loan originators. If this is your first time here, a lot of the times companies look at that as a barometer of like, what are the originators who are at least doing significant production, right? Or a good amount of production. Where are they going, right? Not that these other people don't count, but some of these smaller people could be LOAs or maybe part-timers, right? They're not actually full-timers, right? Some companies don't even allow part-time loan officers. So, okay, there's a lot of movement here. Some of these people say new. I'm gonna stalk really quickly one of them, Danielle. Sorry, we're picking on you, Danielle. And it says that she was previously inactive, but just to highlight something here, I'm sure there's just a small gap, right? Yep, it was just a couple days gap between her license. So she was at Mortgage Center. I've never heard of them. Okay, and so there's that small gap right there between those days of employment are what led to it saying previously inactive, right? But otherwise, Cardinal, NVR, Movement, Cardinal again. Oh, okay. So there's a good amount of Cardinal people coming in from here. I'd have to click into each one of these people individually, but hey, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to Redder so you can do it if you really want to know, okay? And use my link in the description, okay? All right, cool. So that's cross country. And it wouldn't be fair if we did cross country without doing some of the other ones. I can't do them all, guys. We don't have infinite amount of time, for this. I want it to be short and concise every single week. Get to the meat of it. Okay. Guaranteed rate, net loss of 10 loan officers, but net gain of $35 million of production. Okay. Gain. Oh, I didn't do it for cross country. I didn't look at the losses. So we'll do that again really quickly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. $10 million plus LOs. More of that new or previously inactive stuff. Cross Country Guild, New American Funding. And then losses. Lost 30 people. Oh, wow. Okay. Looks like a group going to Empire, GEM. So Golden Empire Mortgage, otherwise known as GEM. And 10 million. I guess we'll call them 10 million, right? Dale, I'll give it to you, right? And Redder not being perfect. No system's perfect. It could easily be missing production here. And so he's a $10 million producer, guys, okay? When that's actually interesting. This Patricia did 24 million, but only did 9 loans. And it says last 14 months. I don't know why it says 14 months. Probably because sometimes there's a gap, right? If you don't have the data for the previous month. So they're saying 14 months in this page to kind of account for that. Okay. So there's 2 losses, 2 bigger producers sorry, alarm going off for my kid's bus stop. But he's already here, guys. Sorry. Sometimes I'm a golden retriever chasing squirrels. If you know me, that comes with the territory. All right. So let's go back real quickly because that wasn't fair. That wasn't fair to look at who's coming in, but not who's going out for cross country. Okay. So we'll be fair. All right. Some big producers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So six $10 million plus LOs leaving. One going to Rate, one going to Home Mortgage, New American Funding, American Pacific, inactive. We just don't know where they've landed yet, just like we saw that on the gain side, right? So, hey, a decent week, a great week, sorry. A great week for cross country, all right? And what was guaranteed rate again? Guaranteed rate was 35 million. It's okay, right? Like it compared to cross country, not a very good week. All right, I don't have infinite time. Drop it for me in the comments. Actually, let me know if there's some staples that you would like to always see in here on a weekly basis, and if I should do additional videos to kind of like highlight other people. I am working on a small data project, so that way on a weekly basis I can see through this data who are the rising stars. I mentioned that last week. That is something I'm working on, okay? So if we come in here and let's scroll down past like the top 10, right? Let's look at American Pacific Mortgage. I think we looked at New American Funding last week. We'll look at, well, PennyMac's a servicer. See, so that's another kind of trick right there. Not looking at PennyMac. And again, you can kind of look right here and see LOs. How many LOs these people have is an indicator of, yeah, you're not doing 13 billion with 514 LOs. You just have LOs doing servicing, right? So they're just doing business again for their existing clients or whatever. Sure, Mutual of Omaha, did American Pacific, we did American Funding, Movement Mortgage, Loan Depot. Okay, we did all those people. So let's go a little bit farther, guys, all right? We're going to skip NationStar, servicer, right? Investor, right? $10 billion, 24 LOs. Pulte, that's a builder. We're going to skip them as well. NewRez, we're going to do NewRez, Prosperity. So Prosperity is owned by Berkshire Hathaway. So a lot of those LOs are in-houses. We're going to look at NFM lending, and we'll see how far we get here, and we'll just take it from there. So let's look at American Pacific Mortgage. Okay, so in the last week, there's a net gain of only one loan officer, but gain of $26 million of annualized production. Let's see who's coming in. 1, 2, 3, $10 million producers coming in, cross country, intercap, and then losses. 1, 2 going out. Okay, so I guess you could kind of say it was a flat week. I mean, 26 million. I guess we could call that a flat week. Let me know in the comments. What's a good week? what would be a really good week, right? Like, should we try and create a threshold so that way we have like a standard for this? Maybe this is a good week, right? For Mutual of Omaha. Gained, so net gain of 12 loan officers and net gain of $90 million annualized production. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $10 million plus loan originators coming from, I've never heard of that company. Top Flight Financial, Loan Depot, some other people, but different companies that are not 10 million. You can see it, right? Get a Redder subscription if you want to look longer, or pause the video. Losses. Only one $10 million plus LO going inactive. He hasn't landed yet. Okay, well, I guess, I did mention that last week about if we should track some of these people. You have to leave a comment if you actually want me to do that, right? It will also help the algorithm and help more people like you see this video, and we can get more people this helpful information. NewRez. All right. Net plus 11 loan officers and 60 million annualized production. Let's see who's coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. $10 million plus loan originators. Okay, RoundPoint is a servicer. So two of these people, let's verify that, right? But I've actually had one of my loans serviced by RoundPoint. So I know this. How many LOs do they have? Yeah, they don't have any producing LOs. So for these people to come here, I don't know. Like, why did they kind of come here? Let's click on them really quickly. I'm interested to see. Okay, the data speaks to us. Okay, that's a lot of refi. Okay, and very few buyers agents. So that 24 million is actually, I'm not really going to count it, right? Because I don't think all this past business is going to repeat. This isn't going to be a repeat necessarily. So my opinion, I reserve the right to be wrong, right? Is it going to be the same deal here? Yeah, only four buyers agents. Again, a lot of refinance business. Oh, and a lot of it's other business right here. I didn't notice if it was for the other person, but other. So it wasn't conventional, right? VA, FHA. So it wasn't conventional Govy business. What was it? some other kind of product. So don't really think that's going to follow you, right? So for new res, I'm going to say it's a flat week. In fact, if you take away those two, what is that? 45 million. It is flat. So there's really no significant gain depending on where those other people came from. Hey, let's go a little deeper in the rabbit hole for a second. Where were these two people? Because they just haven't landed yet. They're inactive. And okay, this person is entirely new builds. Okay, now we got to know. Now we want to know they came from Lennar. Okay. And yeah, there is no gap. So why does it say over here, newer, previously inactive? Oh, sorry. Yeah, there was a gap. 12.8. Sorry. Not 1.8. 12.8. There is a gap. That's why. Lennar Mortgage. That's a builder. So unless they're bringing this person over here to help with builder business, I don't really think that this is likely to repeat either. So I'm just going to skip that really quickly and just really call that a loss. Like this is a loser for the week. New res not really growing all that much. Prosperity Home Mortgage, not any movement, right? This is very flat. One LO gain, 10 million in annualized production, one $10 million producer, and one out, right? So we'll give it to Joanne. All right, and NFM. And after this, we're going to grab two. We'll grab two brokers really quickly, just to take a peek, right? And last week we did West Capital Lending, so we'll do two others, okay? Not a good week for NFM Lending. Okay, net loss of 5 loan officers and $64 million annualized production. Who came in? Nobody. Nobody came in. Well, that's why. That'll do it. And when you lose a $30 million producer and a $20 million producer, okay, don't know where they're going yet. Looks like Loan Depot. Maybe the others are. Oh, this person went to Loan Depot. So some of these inactive people may be going to soon show at Loan Depot. So it looks like NFM lost some people to Loan Depot. Okay. Who else can we pick on really quickly just to shake things up? Switching over to the broker side. I'm going to go with, we'll quickly look at the two biggest, because last week we looked at West Capital Lending. So we're going to look at Barrett Financial. So great week for Barrett Financial Group. Net gain of 30 loan officers, 132 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 $10 million plus originators. No big, well, actually some turnkey people. Turnkey Foundation is Arbor Financial Group. I don't see. So they're coming from other, that is interesting to look at, right? I guess I didn't evaluate that on some of the other IMBs. So I want to be fair about this, right? Like some of these brokers are switching to another broker company. But if we go back and rewind the tape, right? A lot of IMB people going to other IMB lenders, and probably a lot of IMB people leaving to go broker as well. And I believe last week we noticed that trend. So as far as loan officers lost, they lost a $23 million producer going to Bedrock Home Loans. Not sure if that's, let's look. Let's look before we wrap this up. So it is a small company. So this guy probably set up his own shop is likely what happened. Because in the past week, they gained 4 people. And in the last year, they only have, how many LOs? Scroll down. Loan officers. They only have 4 loan officers. So yeah, he started his own company. Okay. And last but not least, we have Nexa. So Nexa losing 10 million, but net gain of 20 loan officers, but probably not a loan officers doing a lot of business. So one $10 million plus producer, and then a loss, 21. And to lose 10 million, right? Okay, you lost 2 $10 million plus producers. So no giant loan officers going to Nexa, right? Is kind of what the data said to me over the past week right here. So thank you guys for watching this week's episode of Gainers and Losers. My name's Thomas Meister. I'm the loan officer's agent. If you have thoughts or questions, you want to see something in a future episode, go ahead and drop it in the comment. Give this video a like and subscribe. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. I appreciate you, and I will see you next week.